Welcome to Windows on the World, bringing you cutting-edge news, empowering information, and no conspiracy theories. On tonight's show, for the viewers out there who may not know about this story, when did you discover this pyramid?
In April of 2005, I first came to little Bosnian town of Visoko.
Dr. Sam Osmanagic, welcome back to Windows on the World.
Thanks a lot.
It's great to hear you again, Sam, and you've been very busy and you've got a lot of engagements coming up. Can you give us a few updates?
Well, that's true. We've had a very successful season. This was our 9th season, and the Bosnian Pyramid Project has become the most active archaeological site in the world. This year we had 350 volunteers from 29 countries and 4 continents. We've cleaned and secured another 250 meters of underground pyramid tunnels. Those tunnels under the biggest pyramids on the planet, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. Also on the Sun Pyramid, we've managed to clean more areas with the artificially made concrete blocks. We've done more dating, and everything's pointing that we are talking about the period of 21,000 to 34,000 years before present. So I would say the Bosnian Pyramid Project has become the most exciting project in the world. Now, this fall, winter, spring, we will be doing a lot of promotion all over the planet. In October only, we have 4 cities, Paris, Zagreb, Tirana, and Istanbul. November, Sedona, Portland, other cities. So we want the whole world to know about this huge discovery. So this is not only another archaeological discovery, but the pyramids in Bosnia means that the pyramids are not built only in Egypt and Mexico, but all over the planet. They were built as the energy machines, and they have direct effect to the global consciousness. And a lot of energy phenomena that we've been measuring in Bosnia are telling us that the ancient builders were able to get the proper frequencies when it comes to the electromagnetism, infrasound, ultrasound, Schumann resonance, negative ionization. So a lot to learn from them.
Absolutely, and another contributor to Windows on the World, Brian Forster, and quite a few other people all went to the Giza Pyramid Complex and went into the Great Pyramid, and they obtained passes to get in there, and they checked out the resonating qualities of the pyramid, and they had some very interesting experiences. That video is actually online. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not, and this is very good because for decades Egyptologists and archaeologists in Egypt, Mexico, China, Peru, they have not been allowing other people to come and do independent measurements. And archaeologists thought it was exclusively their project, and that is so wrong, because archaeologists, Egyptologists, geologists, they cannot answer the question about the true nature of pyramids. You need experts in energy phenomena, you need physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers, telecommunication engineers. And that's what we've been doing in Bosnia, in the town of Visoko, for 5 years now. We are bringing those people with scientific instruments who can measure those phenomena. And the results are telling us that we do have not only the biggest constructions, but the biggest energy machines that in our case in Bosnia, they've been working continuously for 30,000 years. So the ancient history has to be rewritten.
It already has been by certain people, but obviously the mainstream and the, you know, you've got this academic bunch of people who do not want to have to rewrite the history books or learn anything, and that's where the problem is. I think that there are quite a few people like yourself, and there have been for quite a number of years. We've had forbidden history, forbidden archaeology.
Yes.
There's plenty of people doing great work, but they always try and undermine it. So I think that's a very good point, that yes, we
Yes,
need experts
yeah,
in the field. Yeah, definitely.
you're right. And you know, a lot of archaeologists from Egypt, China, Germany, US do not understand what we do in Bosnia with all these energy measurements. The matter of fact, a lot of them are laughing at us. But 20 or 50 years from now, they will be following our steps. And not only that, you mentioned forbidden archaeology. People like Michael Cremo, who are the real scientists in the field of archaeology, are bringing so many information on the surface. People like Michael Tellinger, who was in Bosnia last month, he's been doing the same thing. He gets those megalithic circles from Africa. He's been doing some energy measurements and concluding properly that we do have energy devices. And there are thousands of those megalithic circles in Africa. So when it comes to pyramids, megalithic circles, we are talking about the ancient technologies, and we can use that knowledge to make clean energy sources, to make wireless transportation of energy, to make free energy devices. The time has come.
I certainly agree with that, Sam. That's great to catch up with you and keep us updated with how your talks and your travels and indeed any new developments with the excavations are going. Thanks for being on Windows on the World.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye then.
Oliver Eberlein, welcome to Windows on the World.
Hello.
Hi.
No.
So you're doing a lot of work with Orgonite. You make Orgonite and you use it in lots of different applications. Can you tell us a bit about what you do?
I'm the founder of Orgonite. It's a company in Germany which produces Orgonites. I have some here. I can show to the camera.
Yeah.
We make this pyramids out of argon, and argon technology is was discovered by Wilhelm Reich. And this what you see here is the development over the years which came to be. It's made out of resin, metal, and gemstones, and it has a very positive effect on the environment and on the people.
Can you tell us a bit about the resin aspect of it, how that's put together, because it contains aluminium shavings, is that right?
Actually, we don't use aluminium because we think it's a bad metal for Orgonites. We only use copper, gold, and silver. because those are from the vibrations, they are very good, but aluminium is has a very bad frequency for the world, especially because of the chemtrails and because aluminium is everywhere. You can drink it. You have it in your soda pop cans and in your food everywhere. So it's actually a metal which should never be in the environment.
That's very interesting to know, because I have some Orgonite here, and some of these resins do have the aluminium in. That seemed to be quite common. It does make sense what you're saying about that. I did an interview with somebody a while ago, and they had created a chem buster, which they think actually does work. So
Yeah.
as far as the use of Orgonite, can you explain a little bit about how it works and why it works?
It's based on a very simple fact, which Wilhelm Reich discovered back in the 1930s or even earlier. We have two components which matter in the Orgonite. This is the resin, which is a non-inductive material. And then we have metal like copper, silver, and gold, which is an inductive material. And so we have a non-inductive and an inductive material close together. And Reich discovered that if you put these materials together in a close by, and if you repeat the layers, if you have inductive and non-inductive, and so on, it can create that a flow with the orgone. And orgone is nothing else but the life energy, which is present in many cultures. Like in India, it's prana and chi, and so we have it all over the world. But Wilhelm Reich called it orgone energy, and he discovered that with the alignment of those materials, you can create a flow of the orgone. And so he used this for his experiments, that he put a metal and non-metal together and could accumulate the orgone in his orgone accumulators. And the Orgonite is a development out of those what Wilhelm Reich made. And so it can collect the orgone and transform it through the gemstones. We have many different gemstones in the Orgonites, which help to revitalize the energy, which is destroyed by human technology.
What do you mean by that? What sort of human technology would destroy the power of orgone?
Every technology that uses the current out of the state electronics. It's the computer, it's the cell phones, it's everything that has an electromagnetic field to it. And this technology we created sadly destroys the orgone field in the Earth atmosphere. And Orgonites can make this, I don't know the word for it, so I'm sorry.
What do you mean, it like counteracts it?
Right. So it creates a life field which can rejuvenate those energies. And Wilhelm Reich had called this energy DOR, which means deadly orgone radiation, and describes the state of orgone which is destroyed and it's dead because of our technology, but also because of the thoughts of the negative thoughts of the people. We constantly destroy this life field of Earth.
That's very interesting. I have studied this to a certain extent. What's very interesting about William Reich is that he had a lot of character assassination, and he even had a court injunction to stop him publishing his works, and there seems to be a conspiracy around this energy and against him. Could you tell us a bit about that and why you think that is?
Let's call them the Illuminati or whatever, the people who are in the power behind the curtain. They saw what Wilhelm Reich did in the 1950s when he went to USA, and they tried to work against it. And in the end, he was poisoned in prison. He was injected with radioactive material in his blood, and he died of cancer a few days later. And they saw that he could use free energy. He was so far ahead of his time that he also created generators of free energy and many devices more, which are now confiscated by the U.S. government. And it was a conspiracy against him.
Yes.
And in the end, he lost. He did very good work in the U.S. He founded the Orgonite experiment, if you know about it.
Well, for the sake of our international viewers, can you just tell us briefly what that was about?
The Orgonite experiment was about bringing radioactive material in an argon accumulator. I told you what an argon accumulator is. It is an alignment of inductive and non-inductive material, like iron and wool. So he put a layer of wool and iron together and created this box. And it was known, if you went into this box, this argon accumulator, that you had very strong feelings, and many people even had orgasms. And so the reporter even called it the sex box, because it inducted so strong feelings into the patients or the researchers. And our new experiment was a very big failure in the eyes of Wilhelm Reich, because it has such catastrophic effects on the environment. He wanted to find out what happens if you put radioactive material in an argon accumulator. For Wilhelm Reich, radioactive material was decomposing matter, in the sense that this radioactive material constantly emits deadly argon radiation. So it was the dying process in nature. And so he wanted to find it out and put it in the argon accumulator, and had a catastrophic effect on all the people who were in the room. Because in the minute he put it in there, many people just collapsed and didn't know what is wrong with them. They were unconscious and fell on the floor. And it was, I think, a radius of 5 miles around the research facility, that people just went into a strong state of depressed feelings, and maybe even unconsciousness and a knockout. And he put this radium out of the argon accumulator as soon as he can, but it had such huge effects that years later many of his research team got cancer from it. So it was not the radiation itself, it was the multiplying factor of the deadly argon radiation, which was created in the minute he put that decomposed material into the argon accumulator.
This is quite dangerous technology then, in a way, isn't it, if it's in the wrong hands?
Yes, it certainly is. You don't need much to do with this. You just need radium and an argon accumulator you can build yourself. And if somebody would do this again, maybe they're doing it already. We don't even know it.
This is what I was getting to, because you've been offered some sponsorship for your chembuster. Can you explain first of all what a chembuster is?
A chembuster is a device which was developed by Don Croft, and it has it is for the sky and for the atmosphere, to clean it from the negative effects of chemtrails. Chemtrails are, I think everybody knows what chemtrails are.
Oh yes, we've covered. My first ever show was actually about chemtrails and geoengineering, so I'm aware of the whole program, and I've seen all the government documents, so I'm quite aware of it, and we suffer from it heavily in Britain, nearly every day.
Yeah, same we do in Germany. They spray here every day, and a few years back we had enough from it and said we have to do something against it, and so we came to the chembuster of Don Croft, and so we got together with my business partner, and who is also working here at Orgonite, and we said we have to build a better device than the current chembuster, because it is not perfect. And so we had 3 years of development and came up with the Akasha beam, as we call it, which is I don't know what to say, a developed form of the chembuster. It's much stronger, and you can see how the chemtrails dissolve if you put one up. If you set one up in your area, you can look above it, and you see how the chemtrails dissolve in front of your eyes.
Yeah, see, a lot of people find that hard to believe, but I do understand how it would work, because obviously we're all living in an electromagnetic field, and we're all very much influenced by that, and we can influence it, and that's what this whole process is about, really. I think it's very interesting that you've developed it to that degree. Somebody actually gave me one of these chembusters, and I've got it in my back garden. I'm interested in this progress that you've made with this technology. I've looked at some of your chembusters, and they're quite elaborate. Can you tell me how you came up with the designs?
That just happened by researching, and we did many prototypes, and finally we came up with that design. The Akasha beam, or the chembuster, is based on the cloudbuster which Wilhelm Reich developed himself. Wilhelm Reich found out that if you put a copper rod or a metal rod towards the sky, if you point it towards a cloud or the sky, you can dissolve it, or you can change even the weather. You can make it rain, or you can make it sunny. It's based on how you set up this metal rod, and Akasha beam is sort of a hybrid of the Orgonite technology and the cloudbuster technology. And
that's very interesting, because William Reich did these experiments. I mean, he did cause rain in areas of drought. You said you've someone's approached you with some sponsorship. How do you feel about that? Do you feel as though that the idea could be patented and taken away from you, or is this a good thing? What do you think?
It's a very good thing, because we can finally do a bit of testing in the area of Switzerland. There is a sponsor in Switzerland, Langenthal, which wanted to see if these Akasha beams work. He got really much money, so it wasn't a thing for him. And he said, okay, set up those 5 Akasha beams in Langenthal, where I live, and we will see what happens to the sky, because he is well aware of chemtrails, and he bought, I think, for 1.5 million solar collectors, and he wanted more sun in his area, so that's why he did the Akasha project with us, and we can now research and test how strong the effect is with 5 Akasha beams, because the cost of making one Akasha beam is very high for us. It was a good opportunity for us to make this project, and we have even a Switzer TV channel which is making observations in the area, has set up a camera, and it's going to show it over 6 weeks how the weather will change and how the chemtrails will dissolve.
So you're saying that there's a mainstream TV channel that's going to film it? Is this
No, it's not mainstream.
Oh, right. I thought not. Yeah. Okay.
That would be great.
Yeah. Oh, I would be very surprised, yeah, if they would broadcast something like that. So that sounds like you've got this experiment sort of under control and working with some very interesting people there.
Yeah, really met some really fabulous people in Switzerland, and the Swiss people are very open-minded for such things. They're not like the Germans, which are very narrow-minded concerning argon energy. But the Swiss people, they try everything. They just say whatever works for us, we will do it. And it is very interesting to see what will happen at the end of the month. Then we will have enough material for it. And I even can send you the video so we can do a following report about it.
That would be absolutely brilliant. We're going to take a short break now, and when we come back, I'd like you to tell us more about these Orgonite pendants and the different types of Orgonite that you create.
The Nutter is at Wembley Arena, and I tell you this, control system, you ain't seen nothing yet.
The fascist global state is not coming because we're not having it anymore. No way! No more fear. We are all one. People are waking up. The beginning is here. Awaken.
So Oliver Eberlein, welcome back to Windows on the World. We're talking about Orgonite and your production of Orgonite. We've talked about these objects called chembusters, and William Reich in particular, who was the inventor of Orgonite. Can you tell us a bit about how Orgonite interacts with the body, how you create it, and the intention behind it, and why that's important?
We have a big variety of products we offer. On one hand, we have the pyramids, which are room harmonizers. They energize and harmonize the living room or the working room. And then we have the pendants, which are for the hour, for the personal energy field. And we have them in many different colors and gemstone combinations. So we can treat the different chakras of the body. So, for instance, we have a blue pendant, which is more for the chakra of the head, for the thought process, for the third eye, and for the chakra, which is for the intuition. And so we have this in all the colors of the rainbow, and we can fit it for every customer who has a topic or a healing process. And we, when we make the orgonites, we put very much care into how we make them, with what intention and what feelings they are created are very important to us. And so we energize the resin when we mix it, and chant runes and holy tones into the resin when it is mixed and it is placed to harden out. And so we have many products. We have even a plate for food and for all kinds of stuff, for drinks and such. And the newest thing we have now is an orgone lamp. It is a lamp entirely made of orgonite.
It really affects plants, animals, humans, and the atmosphere around us. Is this really what the Victorians were calling etheric energy? Is it the same thing?
It is. It is definitely an energy which is not measure. We cannot measure with our instruments we have today, and it is the ether. It is the life field which surrounds us, and which is sadly destroyed by our way of living. And these orgonites can have the positive effect of bringing back this life force. And we have many feedbacks from our customers where they say, I'm fascinated by it, I feel much livelier and energized by it, and they are so pleased with the products. For instance, we have one person out of Austria. He bought an akasha beam and put it on the room. He put it in his house because he didn't want to put it out in his garden. And below the akasha beam, the room below, his grandma was sleeping, and she had sleeping problems for years and years. And the day where the akasha beam was set up in his house, she could sleep through the whole night. And that's very astonishing. And I hear very many stories from our customers which astonish myself, because I didn't expect this reaction.
No, that's very interesting, because obviously we're getting hit by a lot of EMF radio frequencies, especially from cell towers and Wi-Fi. How do you think, if at all, that Orgonite can counteract that?
It can dim down the effects, the negative effects, but it can't entirely shield you from these frequencies. I think everybody has a cell phone. Everybody is in touch with these frequencies. We cannot run away from them anymore. But the orgone technology, it gives you big support. Definitely, it can help you a lot, because the pyramids or the pendants can support you and protect you from those frequencies. It strengthens your aura. And the thing with electromagnetic energy or fields or frequency is that a healthy person is never influenced by it, because your aura, your energy field is so strong, it will not harm you much. But when you're exposed to this energy all day, 7 days a week, for instance, you have stress, or you eat bad food, and your health is getting I don't know, You're getting unhealthy.
Yes.
These frequency have suddenly an impact on how you feel and how you think, and this is what the Illuminati know. This is what they want. They want weak people, so they can influence them with the electromagnetic fields. And if only strong people and only healthy people would live on this planet, they wouldn't have a chance. But they know how to influence these people. They give them bad food. They give them stress. They generate fears, financial fears, fear of war, fear of failure, and so on and so on. So they put pressure on the individual to weaken the whole aura in order to control them. And they use the harp and they use the electromagnetic fields of cell phones and so on to make to dim down the consciousness of the humankind. And Orgonites can help you to create an environment which you are which are not entirely freed by those energies, because this never can happen. But you have a big comfort. You have a big backup by those devices.
That's a good point, because when the psyche is damaged and we are getting worn down, the immune system is under attack. We've got geoengineering, we've got bad food, and there's so many different forms of pollution now. So I suppose some kind of protection is definitely worthwhile. That's exactly right. What they're trying to do is wear down the immune system, and we've covered this quite a lot on the show, that under United Nations Agenda 21, there is a mass depopulation program going on, and they seem to be building cell towers by new blocks of flats, which, when you look into the powers of these cell phone towers, they can be used for many different kinds of electromagnetic frequency and radiation, not just monitoring people's phone calls. It goes a lot deeper than that. And this seems to be a fact of life now. They seem to be putting these cell phone towers right outside high density flats. Is that happening in Germany?
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. It's a whole wide world project from the agenda, and we can do something about it. And you mentioned that we have many different forms of pollution. But one big pollution we commonly miss out is that we have an energetic pollution. We have the pollution of the mind, of the thoughts, of the people. And 80% of the world population think negative and are in negative emotions. And so this has an effect on our whole energetic field of the earth. And this is another form of pollution, which is has very dramatic effects and can cause even natural disasters, or can cause even a war to break out, because the energy field has become so polluted that the earth has to clean itself, and natural disasters are a way to clean for the earth. So, but Orgonites can heal the world. So it's a very fascinating technology, because it's the technology of the new age. Actually, it can, I think, turn the thing around.
Well, yeah, it's a very good point, that about the negative energy coming off people, and the negative energy being fed to people through all these different mediums and media outlets, organizations, televisions. It's all part of that, and to keep the mind enslaved. So it's great to know that the work of William Reich is being recognized and carried on, because it would never have been shut down, and he would never have been attacked in such a way if his technology didn't work.
It worked, and he made very, very fascinating inventions out of his foundations, because the orgone technology is only the foundation of what will come for the future. The organ technology can make free energy possible. It can make anti-gravitation possible. All those inventions Wilhelm Reich also already invented, but the public never saw it because it was disclosed. And this is the future of which I see the world, that we maybe in 50 years we have anti-gravitation and we have free energy. And this is, Orgonite's only the beginning for me.
Well, it's people like you, Oliver, that are pushing this forward, and we're very grateful for that. We've featured Orgonite on the show before briefly, but that was a very interesting excursion into what you're doing. Would you come on the show again with your updates from Switzerland?
Certainly. I would be glad to.
That's great. Thanks for joining us on Windows on the World. Thanks for joining us on Windows on the World. Remember, keep watching those, watching us, watching Windows on the World. We'll see you soon.